Let's go check him out. Who is one of the descendants of Shem? All right.
Someone stopped me in Walmart and told me about this a week ago. Several people actually.
Yeah. The Most High is waking up his people, and if you stay with us, Miss Washington, we're going to show you at the very end of all of this what is this about. So just stay in with us. Just stay in with us. I'm glad the Most High led you to this video today. Just stay there with us. And we're going to show you some things here. It's going to be a very important person that you're going to see here. Genesis 11. Let's look at verse 11.
And Shem lived after he begot Arphaxad 500 years and begot sons and daughters.
Okay, so this is coming in after the Tower of Babel and after they scattered. And Shem, now we're going to break down Shem's genealogy. And it said that he lived, say that again, he lived
500 years and begat sons and daughters.
Begat sons and daughters. And so he lived multiple times after the flood. Now, go down to verse 27. We're going to see a very important figure that comes from Shem.
Now these are the generations of
the genealogy.
Generation, yeah. Of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Norah, and Haran. And Haran begat Lot.
Oh, who was that for? That Abram. So Abram, who became Abraham, was a descendant of Shem. Now, as we go back to the beginning, how in the world could Ham be black, skin be dark, and Noah and his mama don't be dark? How in the world could Ham and Noah and his wife be black, Ham be black, and Shem and Japheth don't be black? It's impossible. And when we get on later into these books of the Great Awakening, we're going to show you how the European people ever came to be about. But we have to get you to understand what it was in the beginning. This is not about racism. This is just about the truth. Because how in the world are we could be considered to be racist and using and speaking through racist hearts when I showed you all these other images of what they put up and told us that who they were? Nobody ever called them racist when they put Charlton Heston as Moses. Nobody ever called Mel Gibson racist when he put Jim Caviezel as Christ. So just stay with us and know that this is a labor of love, because this is about our people, the Great Awakening. Now, so we see Abraham was a descendant of Shem. We realize now, according to the Zondervan Compact Dictionary, that we were not the seeds of Ham. We know we were not the seeds of Japheth. So we are descendants of Shem. We see Abraham is a descendant of Shem, which makes somebody else be a descendant of Shem. Let's go to Exodus, the 2nd chapter. We're just going to walk through this. Just showing you according to the Bible. No personal opinions. Just what the Bible says. Exodus, the 2nd chapter. Let's look at verse 11. All right, verse 11 there. Exodus 2nd chapter, Exodus 11. Exodus 2, verse 11.
And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown that he went out unto his brethren and looked out on their burdens. And he spied on the Egyptians smiting the Hebrew. And one of his brethren.
One of his brethren. Okay, stop right there. Now, if you go back at the beginning of Exodus, the 2nd chapter, you will see that this is the birth of Moses. Moses was formed in the family of Levi. Levi was a son of Jacob. Jacob was a son of Isaac. Isaac was a son of Abraham. Isaac, Jacob, 12 sons, children of Israel. Stay with me. Stay with me. Now, so we see here that Moses was born, and he was born during the time that the Egyptians was killing the sons, the Hebrew sons. They told the midwives, if a baby is born as a male, you have to kill it. So Moses' mother hid him for 3 months, but she couldn't hide him no more. So she sends him down the river. Pharaoh's daughter finds him, and the ways of the Most High is so lovely that his sister Miriam, that was following the baby, Said, look, I know somebody that could, can nurse the baby. So she gives him to Miriam. His sister takes him back to the mama, and they end up paying his own mama to nurse him. So crazy how Most High works out things, right? But after he was weaned, Moses went back to Pharaoh and became Pharaoh's daughter and became her son. Now, so back here now fast forward to verse 11, we see here, read that verse for them again.
And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown, that he went out unto his brethren and looked out on their burdens.
Okay, stop. Number one, the world tries to say, the church tried to say that Moses had no idea who he was. This is what they promote in the movies. When they make it about Moses, they try to say that he didn't even know that he was Hebrew, but we see here in the Bible that he did know the whole time. The whole time that he was Hebrew. And then what happened?
And looked on their brethren, and he spied on the Egyptians smiting in Hebrew, one of his brethren.
One of his brethren. So, we all know the story. He kills the man, hides him in the sand. Then, because the people found out about it, he went back to his brother and seen them fighting. He was like, yo, man, the Egyptians is fighting you. Why y'all fighting amongst each other? And then they, you know how our people is. Don't want nobody to correct them or tell them anything. So they're like, look, man, you our judge now? You gonna kill us like you killed the Egyptian? Well, he did it for them. Right? So Moses realized, yo, I got to get away from this. Everybody knows about this. Pharaoh going to try to kill me. And he leaves. Now, read verse 15 for him.
And when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses. But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian. And he sat down by a well.
Okay, so the Pharaoh was all good with Moses operating as his grandson. He was all good. But when he began to separate, he said, look, man, I'm Hebrew, I'm not Egyptian, man. Now the Pharaoh wanted to kill him. Because he's like, yo, we done raised you up and did all this thing, and you out here going and looking up to those guys instead of being with us. But when you know who you really are, you can't live a lie. And this is what I'm telling you, I'm saying this to the people right now because in the next weeks, some of you are going to be awakening to who you really are. Some of you are going to be awakening to it today. And you're not going to be able to live that lie no more that you're black. You're not going to be able to live that lie no more that you're African American. You're not going to be able to live this lie anymore about all the stuff that the church and the people in this country done taught us, and you're going to have to step away from this. Regardless of how uncomfortable it makes, regardless of how people walk away from you, regardless of what ridicule and shame comes your way. You're going to have to do it. And you're going to have to do it some alone. As we always say, do you see a large crowd around us? But there's no way that I'm going to stay hold to something that I know that's not me no more. It's a lie. They're not killing us in this country because we're black. It's killing us in this country because they know who we are. That's the way it's always been. Now, let's go down to verse 19. You're going to find something very interesting here.
And they say,
"Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so excited. I keep missing out. Hold up. So Moses comes down. He sits down by this well, and he sees these women out here watering their flocks. Then these other guys come up, and they try to stronghold the women, but Moses intervened and stopped them from doing that, and protected the women and watered their flocks for them. So then they go back to their father. Look at what they say in verse 19.
And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherd.
A who?
An Egyptian delivered us out of the hands of the shepherd.
An Egyptian? Why did they think he was an Egyptian? Now, let me ask you a question. We put that link in there so you can see that the descendants of Ham was the project of the dark. Ham was the progenitor of the dark races. We realize that the people of Ham, the people of Egypt, the people of Sudan, the people of Ethiopia, Libya, and all these other countries in northern Africa and Canaan were all dark skinned, all black. So if your boy Charlton Heston, if he looked like that, if he looked like this, there would be no way that they would say an Egyptian did it. No way. So that tells us right there his skin didn't look like that, it looked like ours. Because they would have never confused him on being an Egyptian if his skin was white. And some of you that are old enough to know, that have seen the movie, the Ten Commandments, the Bible said in the movie, they did all the different wonders and tricks. Not tricks, excuse me, that's blasphemous. All the miracles that Moses did, except one. There was one particular thing that he did in the Bible that he didn't do in the movie. And that was, he put his hand into his clothes and it came out white. Then he put it back in and it came out the regular color. I wonder why they didn't, Charlton Heston didn't do that. You know why? Because his skin was already white. Couldn't pull that off. The only way that's a miracle, the only way that's something, if your skin is not originally white. So, we discovered here that Moses also was black. Because he was mistaken to be an Egyptian, which you know that the seeds of Ham were black. So how the world Moses is black, Shem was black? Think about it. Now, they got a new movie that just came out, right? What they call it, Exodus. The Gods of Israel. They got the guy that played Batman in there. That's Moses. Look at this. Look at this, man. So this guy could be Batman and Moses? How can you do that? This is what the world is trying to tell us, that this guy right here looks like Moses. How you going to be Batman and Moses, man? You got to ask yourself these questions. Why are they going so hard to do this? Because they know something, man. They know something that we don't know. All right? So let's go to Revelation 1. So we found out that all of Noah's sons were black. Right? And we also found out that Abraham was black because Abraham was a descendant of Shem, which means Isaac had to be black, which means Jacob had to be black, which means the 12 sons had to be black. And they told us in Exodus 2 that Moses was born through the family of Levi, which makes him black. And if you need any more further proof, when you see down in the chapter in verse 24, that when she went down and she went and told her daddy that an Egyptian did it. If he looked like this guy right here, she would have never said he was an Egyptian. Never would have said it. All right?